The Nebraska Ethanol Board is to hold a two-day forum to discuss issues surrounding the industry. Todd Sneller, board administrator, joins us live on the phone to talk about the forum. Good morning, Mr. Sneller. Thanks for joining us. And why is the Ethanol Board holding this forum?
This is the 11th year that we have hosted a forum in Omaha, and the goal has really been to create a forum where people can gather to talk about some of the issues that are impacting the biofuel sector generally, but really with a focus on ethanol and the contribution it makes both from an economic standpoint as well as toward environment and public health. So we'll be focusing on a variety of different developments and emerging issues that speak to the issue of sustainability and profitability and what we can do to further integrate ethanol and other biofuels into the nation's motor fuel pool.
You know, what are some of the challenges facing the ethanol industry?
Well, certainly, historically, there's been about 100 years of opposition by the petroleum and refining industry, so that remains an ongoing challenge to try to integrate biofuels into a well-established petroleum sector. But we have on our program today, for example, several of the really cutting-edge fuel marketers from Midwestern states who will be talking about strategies that have been employed in order to bring more choices at the pump to consumers. In many cases, those choices include several different ethanol fuel options. They're talking about pricing strategy that make those choices and make those options available to consumers more readily and at a lower cost, and in a way that is no longer a novelty fuel, but rather a mainstream fuel. So consumers in many areas of the country will have better access to those fuel options. And
of all the topics you will be discussing at the forum, what do you think is highest on the priority list?
Well, there's a real interest on the part of many countries in the world, but particularly in many areas of the United States, in using fuels that have a lower impact on public health and less of an impact on the environment. And so this whole concept of lower carbon fuels, which has been a big mantra in California, but now in several West Coast states and up into Canada and parts of Europe, have been an important driver for both domestic and international development of biofuels. So we're talking about a number of strategies to further reduce the carbon footprint of biofuels and make them even more attractive in terms of a public policy tool, in terms of a realistic mechanism for helping to reduce greenhouse gases, while at the same time providing choice at the pump and providing fuels that have less of an impact on public health as well.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Todd Sneller, Board Administrator for the Nebraska Ethanol Board.